Alright, thanks for joining me on this live video. I have to do this video because of the request of majority of Chelsea fans. Now, there is this youngster who is a Chelsea player but currently playing on loan at Crystal Palace. That is Conor Gallagher. Now, we know Chelsea to be the team that have a philosophy of poaching big stars from different clubs. You can talk of the likes of Didier Drogba from Marseille to Chelsea, Mike Essien from Lyon to Chelsea. You can talk of the likes of several players that Chelsea bought into their squad. Frank Lampard from West Ham to Chelsea, Raul Mireles from Liverpool to Chelsea. Majority of players, Peter Cech from Stade Rennes to Chelsea. Majority of players joining Chelsea, of which they are big stars. But recently, Chelsea have changed their style of signing players or their style of transfer system. Now, this came about as a result of the club being slapped with a transfer ban, which forced Chelsea to promote academy players into their first team system. That was the first year of Frank Lampard as a manager of Chelsea. Now, Frank Lampard didn't get a chance to sign players because Chelsea at that time had a transfer ban. So he had to integrate young boys into the team. So the likes of Mason Mount, Tammy Abraham, Fikayo Tomori, Callum Hudson-Odoi, Christensen all got a chance to join the Chelsea senior team because of the transfer ban. So these guys have been able to prove to majority of football-loving fans that they are ready for the task, especially Mason Mount, who has been a key figure for Chelsea of late. Tammy Abraham was doing well, but has been sold to AS Roma. Fikayo Tomori was proving that he is very good, but has been sold to AC Milan. Now, Reece James is also another youth product from Chelsea, who has proven beyond doubt that he's very best when it comes to playing at the fullback or let's say number 2 position. Now, there is this youngster who is also proven beyond doubt at Crystal Palace that he's very good when it comes to the attacking midfield role and also certain roles up front, of which Chelsea must try and integrate into their senior team next season. Now, just recently, the manager of the Three Lions of England, Gareth Southgate, invited Conor Gallagher into the senior team of the Three Lions of England because of his performance. Now, Gareth Southgate was asked as to why he invited the teenager Conor Gallagher into the senior national team of England, of which he gave a response that the performance of Conor Gallagher in Crystal Palace of late is the best, and for that matter, he got the call up because of his performance, and that is on merit. Now, let's look at Crystal Palace team. We have a lot of stars: Wilfred Zaha, Jordan Ayew, Christian Benteke, Milivojevic. These are all players that plays very well for Crystal Palace. But this season, in 10 games, this youngster I'm talking about, Conor Gallagher, has been able to score 4 goals and provided 2 assists, which tells you that Conor Gallagher of Chelsea, who is playing on loan at Crystal Palace, deserved the English national team call-up. And for that matter, Thomas Tuchel, the manager of Chelsea, should not overlook this performance. I am saying this because Chelsea of late have integrated young players, and it tells you that if you are a young player and you are in the books of Chelsea, there is hope for you, because Reece James has gotten the chance and he's proving that he's very good. Mason Mount has gotten the chance, he's proving that he's very good. So why not Conor Gallagher, who is also playing at the apex, playing in one of the best league in Europe, the most competitive league in Europe, that is the English Premier League, and he's playing and scoring big teams, scoring 2 goals against West Ham United at the London Stadium, tells you that he's a very good player. So Chelsea must integrate Conor Gallagher into their first team. Now, Chelsea fans watching this video will side with me that the likes of Kevin De Bruyne, Mohamed Salah, players that got off the hook from Chelsea because of performances that wasn't going on well. Now, Chelsea as a club have learned their lessons. And for that matter, any player who is very good, they wouldn't like to let go of that player. So, Thomas Tuchel, as the manager, has worked with some youngsters. Now, one typical example is Callum Hudson-Odoi, a player he really liked to sign, as at the time he was a manager of Borussia Dortmund. Now, he left Dortmund and joined Paris Saint-Germain. There too, he showed interest in signing Conor Gallagher, in signing Callum Hudson-Odoi, because he knew the qualities of Callum Hudson-Odoi. So when he joined Chelsea, he said there are youngsters in Chelsea that he wants to build a team around that nobody would like to play against. And he has shown in recent days that if you are a very good player and you are a young boy in Chelsea, you will get a chance to play. A typical example is Ruben Loftus-Cheek. This guy, we wouldn't say is a teenager, but he has been in the books of Chelsea for a long time. But due to certain things, he wasn't getting the chance to play in the first team. Now, majority of Chelsea fans and majority of football-loving fans thought his career is going to an end. But Thomas Tuchel has resurrected the career of Ruben Loftus-Cheek, of which he is showing that he is a very good player. So, one issue is that when you are a very good player and you are a youngster, definitely you will get a chance to join the Chelsea senior team, if only you are a Chelsea player. So there is hope for Conor Gallagher. The issue is there is hope for Conor Gallagher because of the performance he is depicting at Crystal Palace. And because of that, Gareth Southgate, the senior national team of England, their coach or their manager, invited Conor Gallagher to join the Three Lions of England when there was injuries to James Ward-Prowse, the captain of Southampton, and also injury to Marcus Rashford, Manchester United striker, and also injury to Mason Mount. Conor Gallagher got a chance to play for England, and he showed that definitely he is a very good player as he is doing at Crystal Palace. So this video is all about the integration of Conor Gallagher now at Crystal Palace playing on loan to the Chelsea senior team. There have been reports from Chelsea that they are monitoring the progress of Conor Gallagher, and majority of fans who watch the Premier League knows the kind of player I'm talking about, Conor Gallagher, that youngster with long hair that plays for Crystal Palace. He is a Chelsea player, and the kind of performance he is depicting at Crystal Palace, it tells you that definitely the manager of Chelsea, Thomas Tuchel, have no reason than to fix or integrate Conor Gallagher into the first team of Chelsea next season. Chelsea is a big club, definitely, and they will be linked with big players. Chelsea will be linked with big players, definitely. But that does not also take off the fact that Chelsea have found out a new philosophy. They have found out a new philosophy. Now, Chelsea's philosophy was to buy big players, big name players from different clubs to join Chelsea. But because of the transfer ban they had under the tenure of Frank Lampard, of which they were able to integrate some youth players, Now, Chelsea have stick to that policy of integrating young players. So this is the time for Conor Gallagher to also shine. I am sure shining at Crystal Palace, playing against the likes of Liverpool, the likes of West Ham United, the likes of Leicester City, the likes of Leeds United, and proving beyond doubt that he is very good, very, very good, and delivers with goals and assists, tells me that he can prove it at Chelsea. Rich James have been given chance, and he has proven beyond doubt that he is very good. Mason Mount has been given chance. He has proven beyond doubt that he is very good. Callum Hudson-Odoi also has been given chance, and he is proving that he can do the job. So why not Conor Gallagher? Very fantastic player for Crystal Palace. Conor Gallagher is such a player that Chelsea shouldn't lose at all. He is a player Chelsea shouldn't lose at all. So I am very optimistic that Thomas Tuchel, the manager of Chelsea, would integrate Conor Gallagher into the first team of Chelsea based on performance. One thing is that when a player leaves on loan, there is a team that follows the player's development. Now, the player's parents club set up a team to follow the player's development at the loan club. So, any player that have left on loan from the parent club to the loan club, there is a team that follows that player and give feedbacks to the parent club. And per my checks and the reports coming is that the feedback from Crystal Palace on the performance of Conor Gallagher is very positive. Very, very positive. And Thomas Tuchel has been impressed by the feedback. And it tells me and everybody, every football loving fan, that there is hope for Conor Gallagher. Now, playing in the Premier League is not an easy feat. It is never an easy feat. We've gotten so many players that played in different leagues, proved that they were very strong, but joined the Premier League, of which they became flops. A typical example is Ivorian international Sebastian Haller, who joined West Ham United. Sebastian Haller wasn't able to prove at West Ham United. But now when you go to Ajax Amsterdam, of which Sebastian Haller is the striker for them, he has proven beyond doubt that he's a fantastic striker, scoring in Champions League goals. So it tells you that the English Premier League is not a small competition. A typical example is Saúl Ñíguez, who joined Chelsea from Atletico Madrid. Now, at Atletico Madrid, Saúl Ñíguez was playing, giving in performance week in, week out. But his first game at Chelsea went very, very bad, misplacing passes here and there, of which he has not been able to get a chance to play for Chelsea in the senior team starting lineup. So it tells you the Premier League is not an easy competition. So if a youngster, a teenager, has been able to show this at a club like Crystal Palace, then it tells you, looking at the progress of Rhys James, Mason Mount, Callum Hudson-Odoi, Andreas Christensen, Jamie Abraham, Fikayo Tomori, and the likes, looking at the progress of these players, it tells you, given the chance in the first team, Conor Gallagher can perform. I am saying this based on stats, because this season, in 10 games that Conor Gallagher has started for Crystal Palace, he has scored 4 goals and provided 2 assists. So that is 6 goal involvement in 10 games for Crystal Palace by Conor Gallagher. 18-year-old who has been able to play 17 shots on target for Crystal Palace. Patrick Vieira likes to play Conor Gallagher because of his performance. So, if a youngster like this, a kid, has been able to prove that he can give it at the highest level, Crystal Palace in the Premier League, why not doing same at Chelsea? Yes, Chelsea is a club that of late there is pressure for youngsters. But the youngsters that have been able to be integrated in the Chelsea team have shown that that pressure is something they can deal with. The last player who was graduated from Chelsea's academy and became a top star was John Terry. So Chelsea, after John Terry, have not been able to promote any youngster that became a star. And now they are doing that. They are doing that with the likes of Mason Mount. They are doing that with the likes of Reece James. Now when you go to the English national team, the number 2 position, or the right wing back position, is being competed by the likes of Reece James of Chelsea and Trent Alexander-Arnold of Liverpool, of which the debate of late is that Reece James is better than Trent Alexander-Arnold based on stats and people seeing Reece James as better when it comes to defensive work as compared to Trent Alexander-Arnold when it comes to defensive work. But that is a healthy competition, and it tells you that Chelsea's youngster Reece James getting the chance at Chelsea, proving beyond doubt that he can play, is the reason why he is playing for England. So these youngsters, of which they are the future of Chelsea, talking about Callum Hudson-Odoi, Reece James, Mason Mount, Andreas Christensen, it tells you the future is bright for Chelsea. And for that matter, the rise to stardom of Conor Gallagher of Crystal Palace shouldn't be overlooked. It shouldn't be overlooked at all. Because the kind of performance Conor Gallagher is putting on, there are teams that are also monitoring his progress. And the reports that I've gotten right now is that Thomas Tuchel likes Conor Gallagher. He likes him very much and would like to integrate him into the senior team. So I did this video, or I am doing this video to let you know that if Conor Gallagher is not integrated into the first team of Chelsea, then it tells you that Chelsea is throwing away a very, very bright talent, a very, very good talent. But Chelsea have, let's say, left their philosophy, and they are entering into another philosophy. Chelsea used to be the team that buys big players, big name players, the likes of Fernando Torres, the likes of Michael Essien, Michael Ballack, big name players. But because of the transfer ban, they changed their philosophy and it is working for them. So now when you see the Chelsea team, it is made up of youngsters. And these youngsters are proving that they can do the job. So if you have a youngster on loan who is proving that week in, week out, he is a cause to worry for other Premier League teams, why not you integrate him into your team next season? So definitely, Chelsea fans, I would like to welcome your comments that should Conor Gallagher be integrated into the first team of Chelsea, or he should still stay at loan or on loan? Because I see that the kind of performance he's putting on at Crystal Palace warrants a place in the first team of Chelsea. He is a real talent. He is a youngster that is showing the world that if given the opportunity at Chelsea, he can prove that he is also the player that can take Chelsea forward. Of late, majority of teams are dwelling on youngsters. The reason why I am doing this video is that Chelsea lost a youngster that is now playing at the highest level at Bayern Munich, Jamal Musiala. If you have heard of a player called Jamal Musiala, who is currently playing for Bayern Munich and is scoring goals, providing assists, doing all sort of things in the game for Bayern Munich. He was a Chelsea player, yes. If you don't know, I am telling you right now that Jamal Musiala was a Chelsea player. And Chelsea let go of him because they thought he wouldn't get a chance to play, or they thought his performance was below average, and for that matter, wouldn't get a chance to play in the senior team. And now, Jamal Musiala left straight from Chelsea to Bayern Munich, and manager Julian Nagelsmann is making use of Jamal Musiala, of which he is showing with goals and assists that he can play at the highest level. So if Chelsea have lost this youngster, Jamal Musiala, then Chelsea wouldn't like to lose another youngster who is proving to the whole world that he can play at the highest level, Conor Gallagher. So Chelsea fans, let me know your comments in the comment section that Conor Gallagher should next season play in the first team of Chelsea, or still he should be at loan or overlooked, of which he would like to seek playing time at a different club, just like the example Jamal Musiala did. So playing at Crystal Palace and scoring goals next season, Conor Gallagher, Chelsea fans, would you like to see him in the first team, or he should stay at Crystal Palace, or perhaps move to a different club, of which Chelsea will lose that talent? I would like to welcome your comments. Thank you very much for watching this video.